Beer here back at the Fantasy Bar, week 4 on tap. We're back with 6 of my favorite plays for you on FanDuel and DraftKings, and we are running it back on Happy Hour. Every single play in the video under 7K on DraftKings, under 8K on FanDuel, making life easy on you. We've got some value. We've got some great running back spots, and we have potentially my most controversial Beast of the Week pick ever. Who we talking about? Only one way to find out. Belly up to the Fantasy Bar. Welcome in, guys. Week 4 edition, Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack. Good to be back here in the Fantasy Bar. Thank you, as always, for stopping by, hanging out, and checking out the video. Before we get into the plays, couple things. First thing, thumbs up button, and most important of these things, you guys did a great job last week. Thank you for that. Appreciate it very much. That's the tip jar on this free video. So take a second, click that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and check us out over at scoresandodds.com/beer. All your sports betting needs under one umbrella. That link in the description of the video. Make sure you check it out when you are done here. All right, week 4, we're once again going with Happy Hour, just like your favorite bar, no different in the Fantasy Bar. We're slashing prices, making life easier to fit the Justin Jeffersons, Christian McCaffreys, Tyreek Hills of the world. Every single play I'm going to give you under 7K here this week, along with a Beast of the Week. Some of you are going to love, some of you are going to hate, but I think he's in a great spot, so stay tuned for that. Let's start with our leadoff play here, running back DeAndre Swift. So Swift has been incredible over the last couple weeks. Really hard to ignore what he's been doing. I think the Philadelphia Eagles going to feel the same here. Been great behind this dominant offensive line here, racking up a ton of yardage, but clearly DraftKings not impressed with what Swift has been doing. Price really lagging behind, under 6K once again this week. So playable in all formats. Yes, he'll have ownership. We're going to find you some other spots to save some ownership. We don't always have to avoid guys that are going to have ownership. They're owned for a reason. He's in a damn good spot here. And even on FanDuel at 7,800, I think there's a lot of value here. But DK really stands out as a guy we want to target this week. Over 300 rushing yards in just the last 2 weeks alone. And what a matchup he gets with Washington, who's been pummeled on the ground, giving up 145 rushing yards per game over the last 2 here. And we always look for these spots for our running backs. Big home favorites. We know how Philadelphia loves to get a lead, salt the game away with their running game. And what a running game it's been with DeAndre Swift. Looks explosive, looks great in this offense. Big 8.5-point favorites here. I think Swift has another big day against this bad Washington run D. All right, let's get some value at wide receiver. Opportunity knocking for Joshua Palmer. So we had the unfortunate news, Mike Williams going to be out for the year. We know Keenan Allen, the number one in that offense, even with Austin Eckler potentially returning. I think Joshua Palmer, way too cheap this week, only 4,000 on DraftKings here. After Williams went down with an injury, it was Palmer that played 100% of the passing game snaps. I know there's some excitement with Quentin Johnston. I love him as well. I think it's going to take some time, and the Chargers seem to agree. It's been Palmer clearly playing ahead of Johnston. So a lot of people may go to Johnston. I can't blame you there. First round talent, but it's Palmer the guy I want to lock in this week against the Raiders. 5 touchdowns already allowed to wide receivers this season. Bottom half of the league in fantasy points here. And we saw how explosive this Chargers offense can be. Herbert, over 400 passing yards last season. I think we get a potential shootout here. Joshua Palmer, great cheap target for you at the wide receiver position. Next up, we're going to spend up a little bit at tight end with George Kittle of the 49ers. So tight end, as always, a dumpster fire, especially without Travis Kelce on the slate. But we don't have to compete with Travis Kelce lineups, making George Kittle one of the highest ceiling tight ends we can get. We don't have to pay those Kelce prices either. We also have a lot of injuries here with this San Francisco pass catching group. Deebo Samuel did not practice as of Wednesday. Brandon Ayuk still trying to work his way back. So if one of these guys or both are out, love this spot. All systems go on George Kittle. And even if these guys play, still a great matchup here. He has absolutely crushed this Arizona defense. 5 touchdowns for him over just the last 3 matchups alone with the Arizona Cardinals. We know it's a team that has struggled mightily against the tight end position. And Arizona, 4th most receiving yards this season against this position. Most catches, most fantasy points to tight ends last season. Smash spot here for the 49ers. I think George Kittle goes nuclear once again in this matchup. All right, back to the running back position next with Alvin Kamara of the Saints. So name me a fresher running back in the league. This guy's coming in. He was not hurt. He's been working out. He's ready to go. I think a lot of people are going to take a wait and see approach. That's not how we do things here in the fantasy bar. I'm jumping in here on Alvin Kamara. There's a lot of good running backs in this pricing tier, including DeAndre Swift, who we talked about earlier, that I think people are going to feel a lot better about here and save us a lot of ownership on Alvin Kamara. Maybe in a cash game, you go with a safer route. Tournaments, we want to embrace the uncertainty, the variance, and that we can do with Alvin Kamara. Now, this Saints running back room, been a mess. We got Jamal Williams on IR. Tony Jones had the 2-touchdown game. Mediocre. Kendry Miller still working his way back. I'm expecting Kamara to come in and lead this backfield. We know what he can do in the passing game. Remember that massive game he had a few years ago? Came against this same Tampa Bay Bucs D. Great spot here. I'm not waiting, jumping in this week on Alvin Kamara. All right, back to wide receiver with more value in the mid-range. We're talking Tutu Atwell of the Rams. Now, Puka Nacua obviously been a huge story here, playing that Cooper Kupp role, but under the radar, Tutu Atwell been very great for this Rams team, who's been somewhat of a surprise. Expected them to be one of the league's worst teams. They've been competitive in pretty much every game this season, and Atwell been a big reason why. At least 8 targets in every single game this season, averaging almost 18 DraftKings points per game, and a great matchup here indoors on the turf. Colts play at a very fast pace, and they're also not good against receivers. Bottom 8 in receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns, and fantasy points allowed. No problems with Puka. We can save some money and some ownership with Tutu Atwell. All right, it's time to get to my favorite play here for week 4. Before we do that, let's run it back on our Beast of the Week contest. Easy to play. Just head to the comment section after you click that thumbs up button and guess fantasy points on DraftKings for my favorite play of the week. Whoever's got that closest guess, we're going to give you a free week of RotoGrinders Premium. All right, I promised you a controversial Beast of the Week pick, and we are doing just that at the quarterback position with a guy I think bounces back in a big way. We're talking Justin Fields of the Bears. Now, some of you shut the video off already, asking how much I've been drinking here. Hear me out on Justin Fields. He gets a matchup with this Denver D that just gave up 70 points to Miami. Now, the Bears are nowhere in the stratosphere of the Miami Dolphins, but it's a team that is obviously struggling defensively, and we've seen it week in, week out. Sam Howell went to their stadium, put a ton of points on the board. We also get a nice buy low here. Fields price down 1,100 since opening day, and the ceiling necessary. We know we have Jalen Hurts on this slate. We know we have Josh Allen, some other great quarterbacks. Who in the mid-range can give us a ceiling that Justin Fields can give us? We also saw the design runs really back up on the rise, and that's the strength of his game. They got to get back to utilizing this guy in the run game. 32% design runs. Last week, Broncos, 472 rushing yards allowed over the last couple weeks. I know most of that was Achane and Mostert, but I think Fields bounces back. People are going to be scared. Again, cash games, you want a safer route, fine. Tournaments, I am all in on Justin Fields. Easily my favorite play on the board in this week's Beast of the Week. There you have it with our week 4 plays. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, hit me up in that comment section right below the video. No, I have not been drinking here. Love me some Justin Fields. Let me know. Agree, disagree, am I crazy? Let's talk about it in that YouTube comment section. Don't forget your guess for Justin Fields. Fantasy points on DraftKings for your shot at some free RotoGrinders Premium for RotoGrinders.com. I am Beer saying salut, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist.